Okay, it's starting. Very good. So before, well, you know, with the ones that are here, I don't even need to do that because you three are very good. You read, you pay attention, you enjoy, because book clubs is for this. Book club is for us to attend, to read, and to engage in a discussion, to understand what you understood. I like this, or I don't like that. There is something that I cannot understand. So it's this exchange. Although you don't need it, just pick up the book and you read by yourself. So that's why book clubs are important. You see that today I'm a little bitter.
Yes, we can see.
Today I'm with my nails and
Oh, let's pray for the obsessor.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But so we are doing today chapter 5. So we already did chapter 1. That was, well, the book is divided in 2 parts. So we are doing the first part, and the chapter 1 first part is sacrifices of love. That's where we describe all the history, the spirits that are needed to reincarnate, the issues they had, how they are going to come back. The situation is not going to be very easy. And then that's when we first are introduced to Alcyone, this very, very elevated spirit of this woman that's so loving. And then she decides to sacrifice her purity because she is an enlightened being and she does not need to come back to Earth because Earth is a problematic place. She does not need to come back, but she sacrificed herself because of this man that she loved called Pollux. Then chapter 2, it's Anseios da Mocidade. How do I say this in English? My book is in Portuguese, by the way.
Yes, my book is in Portuguese as well.
Youth desires. I think that would be a good description. Girls, you have the book in English. How is chapter 2?
Longings of youth.
What?
Longings of youth.
Oh, okay.
Longings
yeah.
of youth.
So this describes these 2 people. Well, describes a lot of things, but basically it's just 2 people that are very young, and we don't know who they are. But it starts talking about this man who is young, and this other woman, and they are from different social ranks. This is in the 1700s, okay? Actually, I think it's 1600, in the end of 1600.
Yeah, 1662.
Yes, exactly. I wonder what we were doing in that time. In which country we were living. I think I was in Italy already.
I've been France somewhere, Versailles.
Probably. Probably, so you have a better connection with this group because they were in France. So this was this wolf of this couple, and then we start thinking, oh, is this woman Alcyone, because she's the woman being described there. So lots of things happen, and then these 2 people end up falling in love. They get married, and lots of things are happening. Troubles are happening because there are other 2 people that are in love with them, but they just love each other. But these other 2 love them, and they wanted to destroy their relationship. And so the situation, this is happening in France. All this is happening in France. But this young gentleman, he is originally from Ireland. His family is from Ireland. So his family immigrated to France. So and she is from France already. But when problems start happening
From Spain,
the gentleman has to go back to Ireland with his parents to help to see what's going on. No, wait. Does he go to Ireland? No. I don't think he
No,
goes.
Susanna goes to
Yes,
Ireland.
the cousin. Yes, Susanna, the cousin
The
who is in
witch.
love with him. She goes. Yeah, Yvonne is the gossiper to help me. I have no summary. I'm just remembering. Anyway, very good. Very good. So Susanna, the cousin, goes to Ireland, meets his family, gets shocked that his family is going through so much because of a religious belief. So anyone that's not from that religious belief is being exploited or is losing their belongings. Lots of problems are happening there. So then Susanna comes back to France, tells her cousin, who is already married, that his family is going through a lot of problems and he needs to help them to go to America because they are going to leave Ireland and try a new life. But in that time, they needed a young man to help in the ship so the whole family could travel. So he sacrifices his life and his new marriage and tells his bride, stay, I'm just gonna go quickly to the United States, very quick, and I come back to be with you again. And in the 1600s, going to United States is like this.
Unbelievable.
He goes, and then the bride cannot go because her mother is dying, so she cannot leave her mother dying. And so that's what happened. This is chapter 3. Then chapter 4, that's the chapter we did a few weeks ago, is called variola.
Smallpox.
Smallpox.
What is the is smallpox?
Yes. Chapter 4, smallpox, is called variola in Portuguese.
Okay.
And smallpox is a terrible disease that leaves, especially your face, full of scars. And in that time, the majority of people who got it, they died. So long story short, a lot of people start dying in Paris. Paris is a total disaster. And very similar to COVID, the people in the house gets contaminated because they don't know how to stop the contamination. So spreads like crazy. And the young bride who stayed with her mother, who was sick, and with her father, everything happens. Her mother dies, then her father gets extremely sick, close to dying. He dies, and she also is super, super sick, close to be dead. And the cousin, the young cousin, is trying to help, but the cousin takes her uncle to be buried. And when she goes there, she sees in the book, in the priest book that writes the name of the dead people, another woman with the same name, very, very similar. And she tells the priest to correct the name, and she gets a copy of the correction. That was not a correction, was another young lady, 18 years old, who had died. And anyway, so she gets a document and showing the name and showing that lady is dead. So you can just imagine what happened. So then Susanna, the cousin.
Talk about the plot that Antero.
Oh, yes. Talk about the plot. Come on. Tell them the plot.
So the reason why she switched names on the person that died is because she and Antero, Antero is in love with Cyril, and Antero is in love with Magdalena, and what's her name? Susanna is in love with Cyril. So Susanna says, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pretend that Magdalena died, and we're going to send a letter to her uncle, which is Susanna's father, saying that Magdalena died. And we're going to send a letter to Magdalena when she recovers, because she was sick, telling her that Cyril was shipwrecked. And so what will happen, Susanna will go to America and find Cyril, and I guess tell him that Magdalena died. And Antero will take Magdalena when she recovers to Spain and then to South America. So that's the plot. So that's why they connived and said that Magdalena died. And so that will help them in the future.
Exactly. So this is very sad, because then so in that chapter too, remind me if I'm wrong, that's when Magdalena receives a letter that's also fake, saying that everybody died. Everybody
her husband died. Yeah.
Yeah. So the husband, and then she gets devastating because she recovered from smallpox, but now she has problems in her feet. Her feet got atrophied. She cannot walk normally. So she has very, very difficult time to be able to stand up and to walk. So now she is devastated because she got married at 18 and she's already a widow. And this is really bad. And then the husband receives a letter from the cousin saying Magdalena died. And then he's also devastated. And I believe she sends the letter with the name that she died. I think so. And then he gets really like, so the couple now is separated and they both think they are widows. So they are going through a lot of pain. And to make things worse, Antero, the cousin that was in love with Magdalena, convinces her to move to Spain because it will be a better place. She will forget the air. It will be a new life, blah, blah, blah. And in reality, it was trying to take her away. So if the husband ever returned, they wouldn't find any traces of Magdalena. So that's what happened. They go to Spain. So right now, the young husband is in the United States and she is in Spain. They both think they are widows. So the time passes. Magdalena was pregnant. She was pregnant. She only discovered when the husband left. So he doesn't even know he has.
No, he knows.
He knows. Oh,
yeah.
He knows that she was pregnant.
Right. Yeah.
So she has a baby.
Cyril doesn't know. Cyril doesn't know that she's pregnant.
Just before he went on the ship, she told him, just before he left for America, Magdalena told him that she was pregnant. It's at the end of chapter 2 or 3. Yeah. He does know. Yeah, he does know.
Yeah, I think he knows because in the end of the book, spoiler alert, he is super upset that he never met his daughter and his child. He knows he was supposed to have a child, but he never met the child. He doesn't know it's a boy or a girl, but he had a child. Anyway, so the chapter that we are going to read right now, well, have the summary, is that it's called the infancy of Alcyone, or the childhood of Alcyone. I don't know how it's translated, but Alcyone is the super ultra enlightened spirit that we met in the first chapter, and she reincarnates as the daughter of Magdalena. So everybody was thinking Magdalena was the enlightened spirit because she's really very humble, very sweet, but she is the mother of Alcyone. So now we are going to have Julio that is going to do a summary for us about what happened during her childhood. We know it's a difficult childhood. Well, I hope you're not going to be reading and driving. At least you have two assistants in the car.
I will try to do some Magister here to drive and read my summary. So let me read the part that I did. So in this moment, we know that Madalena was convinced by Antero to go to Spain because the news that she had was that Cirilo died because the ship that where he was uh, sank. Yes, correct, sank.
Yes.
That's
And
right.
she was convinced to go to Spain. And Cirilo Antero asked Madalena to, oh, you can choose where you want to go in Spain. And she chose Avila. Avila was the place that she decided to go. And to go to Avila, they did a long trip because instead to go using the Atlantic Ocean, they decided to go by Mediterranean Sea, and they did a long trip. This long trip, first they went to Marseille, and in this trip, who was in this trip? Was Antero, Madalena, Alcione, and I don't know how to say in English, and was Dolores. Is a person that was working or with Madalena, helping her. Uh,
Dolores.
yes, Dolores. And the four, they first they went to Marseille to take a boat to go to Spain. And when they arrived in Marseille, it was a difficult trip or tough trip in that time. By coincidence, Antero found or met in the boat our old friend, and his name is Federico Izaza. And he was our old friend, and they shared history about their lives. And then Federico shared with uh, uh, with Antero that he was doing some business related with slave traffic, and convinced Antero to join because Antero was looking for one new opportunity as well in Spain because he didn't know, "Oh, what I will do in Spain." And then he was convinced by his friends to invest in this business that involves slavery. Yeah, and and then when they arrived in Marseille, in they arrive in Valencia in Spain. Then they went to Avila. In Avila, Antero bought a small, I don't know how to say chácara in English, a small
Small piece
land.
of land.
Yeah, a small piece of land, not fancy, but a little simple place. And when they arrived, few time later, Antero went to Madrid because he was supposed to go there to get more details about the new business. And then Dolores, Madalena, and Alcione, they stayed alone in this small piece of land. And then they decided, oh, we needed to do something to earn money because they were not rich. And then they decided to cultivate uh, 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 fruits,
Vegetables.
vegetables, and for that, because they need seeds to plant. Yeah. And in that time, Dolores new guy. I don't know if will become a boyfriend, maybe in the future, called João de João de João de Deus. I don't know in English his
Well,
name.
I don't know if it.
That's what it says in the book. Jiao de God or something.
John
Oh,
of God.
John of God, I think.
Son of God. Okay. In Portuguese, it's João de Deus. And João de Deus, of course, is not of course, but he started to help them and with to plant the things in the land. So and after some time, Antero came back from Madrid. And when he came back, first he felt surprised that wow, they improve a lot the land and everything's beautiful, blah blah blah. And was the opportunity in that time? There was the opportunity that he understood that now I think that I will tell Madalena what I feel. And then he opened his heart for her, but she refused it because she said, "No, no, I understand. Thank you very much, but my heart."
Thank you, but no thank you.
Yes, exactly. But my heart belongs to Cirillo. I will die alone, but you are out and you can find a new girl if you want. And
He
he felt
really didn't want him because it's like, listen,
no, but
I will die alone, young.
yeah, but
Like,
what
there's no
interested
chance.
because he looked like he I will not say understood, but he accepted because he didn't force anything. Yes, he just okay. And for sure, inside him, maybe he holds some hope. But okay, but what he did was okay. I will my life will follow, and let's see what will happen in the future. And because he was developing his business in Madrid, that was far, he started to travel a lot, and he didn't stay much in Avila, and
Sandra, do you remember what he started doing in Madrid?
Yeah, he starts drinking and living la vida loca.
Yes,
yes,
exactly. He was Ricky Martin style.
Yeah.
yes,
So
he
he
was,
started having all kinds of women, mistresses, and he started getting really like different. That in the book we even read a portion that she mentions that every time he returned, he was even more different than his personality started getting worse,
Yeah.
worse and worse. Okay, Julio.
yes, but it's interesting because don't for me he doesn't look like be a bad boy or a bad person. For me, he looked like be a nice guy, but he was totally involved by the brothers Izaza, and he was single and probably super young in that time. And in
Julia, how can you say that? He's plotting to get this. I mean, he took this girl from her husband. Bad man.
It's no angel, Julio.
yes,
Don't take his side because you are a man. You have 3 women.
Exactly. She faked her death.
yeah, there are other points.
We're gonna
There are
cut
other
his
points.
thing
I
out.
agree. He was a very weak man. He was weak. Yeah.
Yeah.
He succumbed to those terrible people.
Yeah,
Izazi
because
and his friends.
one thing is, yes, we were all young at one time long ago.
Yes, because for me
What?
was a kind of mistake that he did because he was also involved by what is the name of Susanna that came in. Oh, I have a good plan, and in the end, okay, let's go. So
Yeah, but that's
No,
what
no,
we
no, no,
that's
no.
what
He
we
had he has a brain of his own.
Exactly.
I'm not giving him excuses, but for
Yes,
me,
you
he's
are.
not a evil man. You know, he's just someone that did mistakes.
Well, yeah, we all make mistakes, but imagine if I'm in love with you and you are married, and I pretend that your wife is dead because I was influenced. It's
Yeah.
like it's a big mistake. It's different than you hiding a little thing. It's a big mistake. But this is the most important thing is what Sandra said. We all have free will. So the spirits and the friends and everyone can be telling us things to do, but it's upon us to make the decision. Yes, he was not an evil person, but as that's a joke, there is a joke in America that, of course, I will not know how to say, but the hell is full of good intention people. It's more or less like this.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. Looked like he was weak. You know,
He
he was weak. In the end, he follows the others say, and you know. And
the
then
other thing, one thing, Julio, the other thing is that because Magdalena wasn't well, she was still kind of sick. He was thinking, oh, well, I can't really pursue her now because she's not well enough to engage in any kind of
Yeah.
physical activity. So he says, okay, I'll just go to a whorehouse then.
Yeah. He was like giving her time to feel better. But at the same time, he was not even thinking much of her because he used to stay long periods of time away of the house because he needed to work. Okay. But he was partying a lot. And she was almost disabled. And she was left alone with this lady that thankfully was a very nice person, very hard worker, and she was helping her because imagine she in the 1600s she basically couldn't walk, and she has a little baby to take care, and the place, in that time. Imagine nowadays is already difficult for wash clothes, for cooking, for anything. Imagine them, they didn't even have a car to go to the city to purchase food, so very difficult.
bodies, yes, but yeah. So let's go. And and then let me see where I stop. One thing that I forgot to mention, that by lucky, uh the small piece of land, the neighborhood was of the family. Blah, blah, blah. Let me find the name. Estigarribas.
Yes, a big name.
So, and we will understand better later who was Estigarribia family. And João de Deus was working for them. So then time passed, and it started some rumors that the business of Antero, they were doing some crimes, and the crime that they were doing was slaver free kids, or free child, and
Kidnapping the
kidnap, exactly,
kids. Yes, the kids
exactly. They were kidnapping free kids to become slaves.
to be sold as
And
a slave.
yes, yes, and what happened? This family, that the neighborhoods, the name is difficult. Is Iga Ibes. They were in this slaver business. They didn't accept competitors
Mhm.
Competition.
or competition.
Yeah.
And then this guy in this family, of course, didn't like what Antero and the Zazas were doing, because they were there was a competition. And because the Stigarribias, they had a good relationship with the church, they started a persecution using, it was not an excuse, but using the law in his favor to try to arrest the brothers and Antero. And then came a news from Madrid that Antero, in the end, he killed himself because probably he understood that, oh, I will be arrested, and my life was destroyed, and then he killed himself. And
Right.
when this happens, the Stigarribias, not happy because the guy died. They also, not they, but the church at that time, they decided to, oh, they decided to get all properties, everything that Antero had, and in these properties, one of them was the land, the small piece of land where Madalena and Alcione were living. Probably because, is a neighborhood land, and it's easy to, okay, let me expand my property, and that this now the property of my neighborhood will be mine. And
in that time, the Inquisition time, in that time, the church, like if you were condemned by the church or by the government, because at that time government and church were really, really connected. So if you are condemned by a crime, the church can get every single thing you have under your name. All your properties are confiscated by the church. So everything that was Antero, the church was gonna get. And as we know in the book you mentioned, the head of the church is a family member or is a very good friend of this family who lives next door. And of course, they're like, oh, let's expand our land, getting everything, using the law to be able to acquire. So this was a big problem that was happening. But there is even another problem.
exactly. Yes, the another problem was that it's not just the land that they wanted. They also wanted Alcione, because I don't know why. In the book, in this moment, it just said that the guy from this neighborhood liked her some way. I don't know.
Yeah.
And he, in his mind, oh, we wanna force her to become our slave. So horrible! You will destroy everything. The Madalena could lose the land and the daughter at the same time.
Yes.
So she felt desperate, and she started to think, oh, I need the help, and what I will do, blah blah blah. And in the first movement that she did, she went to a convent. It's correct to say
Convent.
convent. She
Yeah.
went
A
to a
convent,
convent.
where the nuns live.
Convent.
Exactly. Exactly. And in the convent, because she had, I don't know if I can say an old friend, but a nun that she knew at that time. And she thought that, oh, I will be, I'm going there, and I will tell her everything that is happening with me. Maybe I will get some help. But she did that. But the nun said, oh, dear Unfortunately, I can't help you because I can't do anything because it's the church, and the power of the church in that time was so strong that nobody could do anything. And
Yeah. They were even beaten up. They
is
were beaten up when they tried to help another person, and then that's why the nun was
yeah,
very very
yes,
afraid.
she was punished. Yes, she was
Yes.
punished because she tried to help another person before,
The
and then
nun, the nun was, she had gone to school at that convent, or in her young days,
Oh,
Magdalena, that's how she knew that nun. And that's so
yes,
oh,
she knew her a long time.
exactly. She
very
studied
good.
with
Right.
in
Yeah.
this convent before.
Yes. Yeah.
And then she came home desperate, probably for sure. Oh, what I will do, what I will do. And then João de Deus was there, and he said, "Oh, I know a priest. He's a very nice guy, and maybe he can help us. And let's try to talk with him." And then they met this priest. She told him all story, everything, and he said, "Okay,
And who remembers what's the name of this priest?
Dominic.
let me."
Dominic.
Damiano. Yes. So it's important for us that we study spiritism. It's important for us to know, especially Sandra, because Sandra, you are new to spiritism. This priest Damiano is one of the reincarnations of the which spirit. Do you guys
I don't
know?
know.
Yvonne, do you know?
No.
You don't know, Julio? I thought you knew. Oh, Emmanuel.
Okay.
Emmanuel is the
Oh,
spiritual guide of Chico Xavier, the Brazilian medium, very, very famous. And this is
Oh,
one of Emmanuel's previous reincarnations.
how do you
And
know? How do you know that?
yes, and
How
then
do,
he
how do
was
you how do
Emmanuel.
you know that?
Oh, because Emmanuel says it, the preface of the book. That's Emmanuel who writes about his own life.
Uh,
The preface of the book, he mentions that he's going to tell a story of one of his reincarnations when he met this super enlightened spirit that was the little girl that was Alcyone. And in that time, Alcyone was already super elevated, and Emmanuel is still struggling. Like Sandra, you are reading 2,000 years ago. This is a book that Emmanuel tells one of his lives, and a life that he met Jesus. So this was 2,000 years ago. So after that, he reincarnated many, many times. And this one in 1600 is one of his reincarnations. He already told Chico Xavier that he had several reincarnations as a priest, many, many reincarnations as a priest. So this is one of them. And then Julio now is walking through the corridor. You're gonna end up losing the the connection.
Oh,
are
did
no,
you?
you?
no, I'm not.
Lost already. Julio is
You
gone.
know that I'm trying hard to stay. Uh, so we are almost in the end. So
Yes.
in the next morning, then the I forgot the name of the family. The guys from the family, they came to the Madalena house to give the good news. Yes, to say that, oh, I will get your land, and I want your daughter, blah blah blah.
Getting everything.
So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but the priest was there, and when they arrived, the priest said that is happening some kind of mistake here because this land belongs to her. I have here a donation letter that proves that the land belongs to her. Blah blah blah. and the Izibiaha, I forgot the name. They were not happy for sure, and they said, okay, uh, I will. Let's talk with the someone from the church, and let's see what they will decide. And they left, and the chapter ends. And what will happen? What will happen? Let's
Very
see.
good.
Now he's gonna get into the elevator, but that's it. You finished.
That was very good. Very good. Yeah. You didn't
Yeah.
miss a
Very
thing.
good.
Very
Very-
detailed, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Julio. This book is beautiful. So
Yes.
so Sandra, and it's the life of the Spirit Emmanuel is amazing, amazing, amazing. So it's good when we start connecting the dots and we start identifying, oh, this is this is that, this is so. In the many Spiritist books, this happening, especially when it's a series of books. Yvonne, have you read the series 2,000 years ago?
No,
Yvonne, you haven't read this? My
I'm a
goodness!
baby
No,
here.
you have to do like Sandra. You need to read 2,000 years ago. This is my favorite book ever.
Okay, I'll get it. I'll get it.
It's
Yvonne,
beautiful.
you have no idea. It's fantastic.
I just finished
fantastic.
Nozalar also.
I
Oh
read
yeah,
that.
Nosolar is also
I read,
great.
I read Nazalar.
Nosolar is
That
also
actually, that is, I have to say, to me, science fiction.
This one,
yes, when my mother read Nosolar many years ago, she was not a spiritist, and she was like, "Oh, Angela, I'm so sorry, but this is too crazy for me. We die, we do not need to get a bus, so this is insanity." And then I was like, and then I was giving her all kinds of explanations, but she was not ready. When we are not ready, we can't explain anything. But just to give you a glimpse, this is one of the main things that the people get stuck with Nosolar, and they say, why a spirit needs a bus? Because it's a spiritual bus. But it is very similar to here. For example, we are all together, and some people learn how to skate. Others, they will never learn. Others, they only know how to walk. So there is a period of time that we have to learn. So in the spiritual realm, it's more or less like this. Like we are walking. The ones more elevated, they know how to fly, because it's volitate, how is it called? And the ones that I don't know yet, they have to take a transportation to go from point A to point B. But I understand it is like challenging, even for Chico Xavier, when he wanted to present this book to the general public. Emmanuel told him, wait, because he knew people were going to be challenging all these teachings from the spirit of André Luiz, because this is André Luiz who tells this story, that Emmanuel guy.
Oh, credit card.
So it is challenging. It is challenging to understand. But anyway, Yvonne, you need to read 2,000 years ago, then the reincarnation of all of them to 50 years later is the continuation of their lives 100 years later. And then from 50 years ago, the other book is Hell Christ. That's also the reincarnation.
I couldn't find 50 years ago. Is it called something else?
what's the third book? Sorry.
The third book is called Hail. It's not Hell, it's Hail Christ. Hail.
Okay. Okay.
So these
I
three
couldn't-
books are together because they're reincarnations.
I couldn't find 50 years ago.
You couldn't find it?
Is it called something else?
No, it's called 15 years ago. 15 years ago. If you don't find on Amazon, then I have a spiritist library. Library, no. How do you call it? Book club. Book club, no. A publisher, a spiritist publisher, who has all those books. 50. Let me just see. 50 years ago. Let me just see quickly, Chico, if by any chance, if it has the book here 50 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, in Amazon. In Amazon, you get. It's not 50. You have to write 50. 50.
Oh, spell it out.
Yeah, 2000 years is the only book that's really number. The other one you write 50 years later, and then you write Xavier, Xavier. Then you find the book. It's on Amazon. It's anyway. It's amazing, Yvonne, because it tells the reincarnation of every single person. I remember reading the book and having to put a pencil, and I had to have my notes because I'm like, oh, and sometimes they change sex, like the woman became a man. And I'm like, oh, this is that. Oh. And it's so interesting. It's really like a soap opera situation with it's my goodness, I love this series. Anyway. So girls, I would like to know if you together could do the next chapter. I know Sandra already read a long time ago, and taking the opportunity, Yvonne, that you're going to be here. I think when we do together, it gets more interactive because then you read a little bit, you talk a little bit. So you think you both could do it? Chapter 6.
Sure.
What date is that? I just want to see.
It will be. Let me. It's in 2 weeks. Let me just see what is the picture.
The 22nd.
No, not March. February 22nd.
22nd.
Okay.
February 22nd. Exactly. And then would be great to do together.
Okay.
I will advertise as chapter 6. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Do you know?
Awesome.
Do you know where Sonia is? Is she okay?
Oh, Sonia actually wrote me. She's very sick and she was in the hospital. So for a little bit, she got her cell phone and she wrote me. She said, Angie, I'm very sick. I'm in the hospital. They don't know what's going on with my brain. It's snapping. That's what she wrote. And then I answered and I said, Sonia, please ask your daughter to get my number so I can get in touch with her. She did not answer. So I don't know what happened. But last week she wasn't there.
Tell her we asked for her.
Yes, she's so sweet. I'm like, oh my God. My prayers are with her because she's really so loving, so dedicated. Sandra, she's extremely new to the Spiritism, extremely new. But as soon as she discovered, she studied like crazy. She started reading every single thing, participating of all the studies. So when she talks, it's like she knows so much, but it's because she's so dedicated. But and then she got cured from cancer. The doctors say you are not cured, but you are in remission. Remission. So she got in remission last year, but unfortunately, it returned in a different area, totally different area.
Oh.
And that's what happened to Sonia. I feel like so bad. We need to continue praying for her because she's such a sweet soul. And she moved closer to us. She moved to Naples. She used to live in another state. I don't remember which was the state, but she lived far. And then she moved to Naples, Florida. And she was all excited that she was going to meet us. But as soon as she moved, boom, she got sick again. And that we never met in person. So hopefully she will recover and this blessing will be possible. But guys and girls. Julio, good job. Thank you so much.
Julio, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sandra, love you.
Good night.
Love you.
Love you guys. Thank you so much. Good night.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.